Good morning everybody, welcome back to my channel. Belinda here from Visualized NZ. I'm just going to do a quick wee video showing you the finished Junk Journal July journal. I'm really happy that I completed the whole month. There was times when I got a little behind or skipped a day and had to go back and do it, but I finished on time on the 31st of July. And it's just taken me a few days to get round to doing a video on it. So here's the video. Last one that I showed you, we had got as far as prompt 19 or day 19, which was tucked away. So this was this page tucked away, so a little journal card tucked away in a tuck spot. So day 20 was black and white, so I did this layout and I love this layout. I did some neutral collaging in the back with dictionary page and music paper, and I had found this black and white image of a couple of children with a camera, which I thought was really sweet. And out of a magazine there's this doily photographed on a black background, so I added that in, a die cut of cats, a little word out of a magazine, and then I did a bit of doodling, and I'm just really happy with that page, and that was my response to black and white. Day 21 was focus, so kind of going with the camera theme because I am a photographer as well. So there's this beautiful watercolour image out of a magazine and some words out of the same magazine that I thought fitted really well. It says pause, reflect, reframe, act. So I think that works with the topic of focus as well as with photography. So I put focus on the important stuff in there as well, handwritten, and wrote in some notes about my own feelings about photography. Prompt 22 was blended. So I wasn't sure what to do with this for a start, so I went and just blended the background. So I blended sepia, ink and vintage photo, and then some white Posca pen in the middle, and I blended all that together. And then I did just a bit of collage and writing over top. So in the end it turned out quite nice. I quite like it. And also as a crafter and an artist, I found this in a magazine as well, and it was an ad for a paper fair or something, crafting fair, and it had these little titles, so mixed media art, card making, scrapbooking and more. And it's like, yeah, as a journal maker, all of those things are blended together in the making of journals. So I felt that fitted with the theme as well. So moving on to day 23, it was maximalism. Try and say that fast several times in a row. Maximalism. Again, this one sort of made me think a wee while on how I was going to approach it. And I've had this real thing for labels lately. I've been buying up kits and using them everywhere, and I love them. So I went with just a whole collage of different labels. So lots from different shops. There's some Artsology, there's some 9 of Crohn's, there's, who's this one? Oh, I can't think of the name. That's a new set and I can't think of the person. And then I've got some of my own number stamps which are in my Etsy, number labels. And then I had this sitting on my desk, a email label from an envelope I'd received, so I added that in there as well. The rest are printables, and I made this little pocket on the corner and put some more labels which I'd backed with some writing paper to form a little journal spot. So I had fun with that page, and I love it because I just love labels at the moment. Day 24 was Paint Splatters, and this one I only completed towards the end of the month because every time I went to do it, it was too late in the day to be starting to get messy, because paint splatters are messy. So I've got this little pocket here, because this pocket here is a wraparound bit of envelope. So this is a wee pocket here, and I trimmed off, sorry, I didn't trim off. When I did my paint splatter on my journal card, I had pages underneath, so I took off some of the page underneath and added that to the pocket, bit of washi tape, and then this journal card, which I absolutely love. beautiful paint splatters. I used a mix of acrylic paint and watercolour for that, and just had a lot of fun splattering it, and very messy fun. I got a bit of paint everywhere. I'm still finding it in places. Okay, so that's Paint Splatters day 24. Day 25 was Peaceful. So again, I went with a neutral colour palette, put a few words that talked about peace, and some birds and some lilies, which are emblems of peace, and a bit of vellum, gold swirl vellum in the back. And that's just a calming page compared to this sort of splattery business. This is peaceful and restful on the eyes. Okay, day 26 was Memento. So I made this tag, collaged it up, did some stenciling, and the Memento is the sticker down here, which came off the box of the new phone my husband bought me to do videoing with. So I thought that was a perfect memento to pop in here. Day 27 is Stripped Back. So I used an illustration out of an art book of the artist. He was a musician. And then I glued over top of that a bit of a printable, and then tore it back to reveal the face. So I didn't put glue directly over his face, I just did it around the edges so that the paper would partly stick. And then I put this quote here that I found: "But if they stripped all those labels off, people might be shocked to find a normal girl beneath." Now, I found the quote after I'd already glued down the papers. So it talks about a girl and the images of a man. So perhaps not the best pairing, but the message is still there. Day 28 was Stenciling, and this page, I have to say, I do not like this spread. It's all a bit of a mess. It's kind of doesn't really say anything, but it's done, and I use stenciling. So I used a couple of different stencils in a couple of different colours in the background, and then collaged some bits of napkin, a stamp number is stamped on fabric, and some doily, and just called it done. I went in with no plan, and it really shows. It's really a mess, but you know, sometimes your pages turn out like that. So on to the next day. So the next day was Geometric, and I just went with rectangles, so some yellow rectangles and some rectangle elements here, and circles. So using my big circle punch that I'm loving using at the moment, and then just a fussy tall B over top. So I've got some journaling space here to do. I added some stamping in as well, and a bit of stenciling, just to give it some more interest and to reinforce the geometric theme. So day 30 is favourite quote. Now, I don't really have a favourite quote, but "just keep swimming" is something I say to myself quite a bit. You know, when I'm struggling or something's not going right, I stop and think to myself, just keep swimming. In other words, just keep going. It's okay. It might turn out all right, but at least you're doing something. So I thought I'd use that. So just collaged with a lot of the inside of envelopes and a bit of other painty paper and bits and pieces. Added some doily and some paint splatters with white Posca pen, and this fishy out of a book. So I really like how that turned out as well. And day 31, the last day of the challenge, was Farewell. So I had been tempted to do a spread on my beautiful cat that passed away earlier this year, and my husband thought that was a bit sad. And I says, but you know, it's a way to memorialise him. But in the end I went with something else. And the first page I did in this was a quote that says, "A little step may be the beginning of a great journey." And that was day 1. So I thought this quote that I found in a magazine kind of tied back really nicely to that first one. And it says, "I see my path, but I don't know where it leads. Not knowing where I'm going is what inspires me to travel it," by Rosalia de Castro. And so I just fussy cut some images, this picture of a girl, and fussy tore a flower, collaged in some sewing pattern on the back and some writing space, so I've got a little bit of writing space, and stamped this dandelion here. And that was day 31. That was my farewell to Junk Journal July for 2022, and I've only got one small little page left in my journal, so it was a perfect size. So I hope you enjoyed the flip through of that. If you want to go back and see the other pages that I did, there's 2 separate videos, so I did them in batches, flip throughs of batches of each stage, chunks of days. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.